Welcome to PeopleTools Tech Tips. I'm Randall Groncki, and today we're going to put QR codes inside of PeopleSoft BI Publisher reports. We're going to be covering here a little bit more than just the QR code XSL tag for the RTF templates. So if you need to jump ahead, look at these sections or down below to jump to that section you need to go to immediately. As always, all our demo material is out in PeopleToolsTechTips.com and also our GitHub site, PeopleTools Tech Tips. Feel free to go out and download the samples and work along with us as we demonstrate these QR codes inside of PeopleSoft BI Publisher reports. QR codes are machine-readable graphics that store information. This is usually the black and white square with the pixelated pattern that you can scan with your smartphone. The most common is to encode a URL that your cell phone can go to immediately, either through the web or through an app on your smartphone. This saves the user from having to manually type out a complex URL, sometimes including keys, that can run into hundreds of characters long. Why do that? Just scan this with your phone and push go. However, a QR code at its base is just a bunch of characters. BI Publisher can do two different kinds of codes, QR codes and PDF417 codes. So what's the difference? Well, QR codes are those square pixelated black and white codes usually, and they can encode over 7,000 characters. I think it's 7,089 characters inside that graphic. Now granted, the more characters you encode inside of your QR code, the larger the code is going to be readable by your device. The PDF417 is a stacked linear barcode that you often see on the back of your IDs or your boarding passes. They look sort of like a barcode such as in the back of a product at a store. However, they're distinctly different because you can see they are 3D rather than just 2D across. The PDF417 specifies that each pattern in the code is 4 bars by 17 units. The PDF417 can hold up to 1,850 alphanumeric characters. However, most smartphones natively will not read a PDF417 code without additional apps. PeopleTools have been able to print the QR code since the 8.5.8 version. As per BI Publisher documentation, it's supposed to be able to print both QR codes and PDF417. However, on PeopleTools 8.5.9 and the current release of PeopleTools 8.6.0 that I'm working on, PeopleTools cannot print the PDF417 due to a Java library error on the application servers. We can view the PDF417 codes using the BI Publisher Desktop Helper preview button or the template viewer that's installed when you install BI Publisher Desktop. Also, before we get to that point, make sure you're installed the very latest version of BI Publisher Desktop Helper. The version that is with PeopleTools 8.6.0 does not allow you to print either QR codes or PDF417s in preview. The template viewer will do those. Also, make sure you have the latest version of Java installed on your local machines to preview. PeopleTools on the app server in the PIA can print the QR codes inside of BI Publisher templates. Currently, it cannot, also due to that Java library issue inside the PIA. Hopefully, in the future, PeopleSoft will fix the Java library issues on the PeopleSoft servers and also the BI Publisher desktops that's issued with PeopleSoft with the specific tools releases. But until then, download the latest version of BI Publisher from Oracle, download the latest version of Java from Oracle, and with those you can see the QR codes and the PDF417s inside the BI Publisher template helper while you're designing them. Again, on PeopleSoft, only QR codes at this time. Additionally, QR codes and PDF417 is only an RTF BI Publisher template implementation. We cannot put the QR codes or the PDF417s into Excel templates at this time. Now, if you're feeling adventurous, you can put that PDF417 inside of your BI Publisher template, render properly inside of your local desktop, but when you throw it up to PeopleTools and try to work it there, inside the preview button of BI Publisher, you'll get this Java error that explains it really can't find and use properly the PDF417 Java libraries that it needs to render the code. Well, let's get started by adding a QR code to a very simple BI Publisher report. This is a test bench I created to test BI Pub QR codes in PeopleTools. It just has a code type and a long text box to type in what we want encoded into a QR. I'll put in the PeopleTools tech tip URL and click print. The very simple BI Pub report pops up with the URL I just typed into text and also a QR code. Here's the XML file it generated and the one we will use for our demonstration. You can see our text payload in the FLD under X under QR code under data tag. Our RDF template is already started for this report. It's displaying the text in our one field. Load the XML sample file we just created and test the template to ensure that much works. Here's our report with the text. Let's go back and add that field again for the QR code. Click on Field and insert our field under X under QR code data field. To make it easier to spot, I'll change the field label to QR under code. Let's just preview that much and see that it works. And we see our second text string. This is what we will put into a QR code. Let's review the syntax of the QR code BI Publisher function. Here's the basic syntax of the function. We use the XML tag we are encoding as the data. Sizes and points. This is the overall size of the rendered QR code. Since it's a square, each side will be this many points wide. Charset is optional and UTF is the default. We should be using UTF-8 for all our XML files in PeopleTools since ASCII can't handle the special and non-English characters common in PeopleSoft data. Here's an example. Our data field to encode is XML under field under tag. Add QR code colon space before the field name and after the question mark. Semicolon after the field name, space then 200 to tell BI Publisher to make this image 200 points large. Back to our RTF template, let's apply that to our field. Click on our QR code field to select it. It should turn a darker gray. Then right-click on the tag, choose BI Publisher from the menu, then Properties. The BI Publisher field Properties dialog box pops up. Click on the Advanced tab at the top of the dialog box. We see our XML tag. Now update that tag with the QR code function. Add a space after the first question mark, then QR code colon before the space. After the field name, add a semicolon, space, then 200 for the point size. Click OK and then preview our work. And there is the URL with our QR code. Let's go back and change the size to 100 points and preview that. We see that code is much smaller. That's all there is to adding a QR code to a PeopleSoft BI Publisher report. Here's our RTF template for our PDF417 code. It's basically the same template we used for the QR code. We'll just use the PDF417 function here. First, let's load up our sample XML file, and then preview it just to make sure that much works. PeopleToolsTechTips.com. Perfect. Add our field to the report again. Change the label to PDF417 under code for clarity. Okay, and let's test that. So we're going to encode that second entry into a PDF417 image. The BI Publisher PDF417 function syntax has more parameters than the QR code, but all are optional but the data field. Data is the XML tag we are encoding. Xscale is the size of the module width in points. The default is 1 and this is optional. Columns and rows are optional and beyond the scope of this video. Character set again is optional and defaults to UTF-8. Implementing this function looks like this. Start with your XML tag, add the PDF417 colon space after the first question mark and before the field tag. We are specifying the size here, so semicolon after the field tag, space, and then 2. This will be a largish code with each internal data item 2 points each. Click on our PDF417 field to select it. It should turn dark gray. Then right-click on the field and choose BI Publisher from the menu. Then Properties. The BI Publisher field Properties dialog box appears. Click on the Advanced tab. After the first question mark, type in PDF417 colon and space before the field name. That's all we need to encode this field into a PDF417 image. Click OK and preview PDF to see our code. And here is our PeopleToolsTechTips.com URL encoded into a PDF417 image with the default Xscale of 1 point. On our tag after the field name and before the second question mark, add semicolon, space, and 2. Okay, and let's preview that. Here's our code twice as big as before. Just a warning, don't go too big with the X scale size. Anything bigger than a 4 may not fit on the page. If you're using the BI Publisher desktop version that came included with your PeopleTools, you most likely can't generate QR and PDF417 codes in your previews. You get errors. An option to test your template is with the BI Publisher Template Viewer installed on your machine when you installed BI Publisher Desktop Helper. Find the template viewer in your program files. It may be in different locations depending on if you install the 32 or 64-bit version of Desktop Helper. My template viewer is in this directory: Program Files, Oracle, BI Publisher, Template Viewer. Look for the templeview.jar file and click on it. Here's the template viewer. First, set your working directory to the directory with your template and sample XML files. It's best to keep them together for this. The left panel shows all the XML files in that directory, and the right panel shows all the templates. To test, highlight the sample XML file and the template. At the bottom, we choose our output format. I'll choose PDF. Click the Start Processing button to generate the report. And here is our report. We can use this to also test our PDF417 template just by selecting that and executing. And here is our report with the PDF417 code that we previously rendered. Another way to test our QR codes is to use PeopleSoft architecture to test the templates. Currently, this only works with QR code templates until Oracle fixes the Java issue on the app servers. As with all PeopleSoft BI Publisher reports, register your data source and create a BIP report definition. On the Templates tab, add a new template file at the bottom of the page. Plus in a new effective date row, change the status to active, and upload your template to test. We don't have to save this, just click the preview button and see the template rendered using the sample XML file. Now that we can put QR codes inside of our BI Publisher reports, let's think about how the users are going to see these QR codes and what they can do with them, because we need to think about that just a little bit ahead of time. Now, if all your users have to consume these QR codes is their smartphone, then we probably want to limit our QR codes to URLs to bring the user to whatever we want to see inside of PeopleSoft or maybe somewhere else, or phone numbers or the like. The phone is going to try to interpret that code of string into either a URL, a phone number, or some kind of app action inside the smartphone. So if it isn't one of those, we can't really know how those are going to react on the phone, and it might not be the best user experience if we just throw up a string of text. I've seen, for example, just putting a date time field inside the QR code is like a test for a stamp of when a user approved an action. Well, my smartphone actually looked at that and tried to interpret it as a phone number and asked me if I wanted to call it. That's not the experience we want to give to our users. If we're thinking way ahead of time and you're more of an environment of an enterprise where we have dedicated special readers that we know ahead of time how to encode and read this information, then we're not constrained about what smartphone manufacturers are trying to interpret our data with. So that's a whole lot better right there if we're going there with our enterprise. But think about that. How can we get these QR codes? Maybe when an employee self-service or manager self-service, they get a report, and in the mail or whatever, this hard report, let's think of the different ways we can use a QR code. Well, embed a phone number to the company. Embed a link inside of PeopleSoft with the keys to employee self-service or manager self-service as they are initiated to do the work from whatever report we just gave them. Maybe a PO or an invoice with links to the different products or the PO inside of PeopleSoft so somebody can take an action on that individual PO or invoice right there. So the ideas are really endless, but just remember, we're putting it printed somewhere that another machine like a smartphone or a reader or a wand that the user has is going to look at that and then take them to do something else. How can we leverage that to empower the users to make their experience that much better. So that's QR codes, straightforward, simple, and you can do it in your reports right now. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing to our channel, and we'll see you next time here on PeopleTools Tech Tips.